Welcome back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. This is a video on Ghost Recon Breakpoint, though today I am actually in Ghost Recon Wildlands because I'm going to be discussing AI teammates. If you like what you see, please consider hitting the like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. It would be massively appreciated. Now today's video is going to be all about AI teammates. We know that they're coming in Breakpoint in TU 2.1.0 in the middle of July. That's when it's expected. So what can we expect? Basically I'm going to run through what you can currently do in Wildlands, and we're going to have a look at what we think hopefully we should get. Will it be similar? Will it be something completely different? We're going to kind of speculate a little bit, kind of see what kind of improvements that could be made, or do we want it the same? It's kind of an overall kind of discussion, and if you'd like to join in, please feel free to jump into the comments. That would be fantastic. So here we go. Let's start this thing out, shall we? So let's start with the basics, shall we? Obviously this is Wildlands, and we presume that the AI teammates are going to work in a similar fashion in Breakpoint. They may be completely redesigned. It could be entirely different, but I think we're going to get something pretty similar. So what do we have so far? So if we have a look at it, we've got a nice, we're out in the salt flats. It's pretty open here, so I can show you. So let's go with what we have. So if we run over to here, we've got the wheel, obviously with the press of a button. Some people I think enjoyed the wheel, liked it, thought it worked well. It can be a little bit fiddly I suppose at times, but overall pretty good. So obviously you just hold down your position, there's your marker. I'm using this on PS4, so obviously it's a bit different on Xbox and PC, but pretty much the same overall. So obviously, you know, you hit the command, and if we have a look, there they go, over to that position. Now there's nothing wrong with that, it works. As you can see, they're over there, they're doing exactly what I've asked them to do, taking cover behind that kind of berm. So we've also got obviously hold position. So now if I want them to come back, it can be a little bit fiddly at times holding it in the position. Maybe there is a better system that they could come up with to have that, because look, as you can see, I was kind of messing around a little bit there. Obviously we've got regroup, which obviously should bring them straight back. So I mean, there we go. And obviously if we've got an enemy over here, which actually we have an enemy right in front of us, so if I hit this, they'll open fire just like so, and they've got the job done. So far so good. They've done a decent job, and obviously they're running off. If I tell them to hold, they're gonna hold. Well, he's still firing, but that's cool because he's under attack, so makes sense. So pretty basic. I'm going to be honest with you, I think in Breakpoint we are going to get something very similar to this. I don't think we're going to have any more commands added than those. I think they are going to take what they've used in Wildlands and probably incorporate that exact same thing. Right, we're getting attacked, so I think it worked okay in terms of the basics. For movement up, what I would have liked is to have seen you've been able to move each soldier individually. So I could have sent, for example, Holt over to there, I could have sent Midas over to behind that vehicle, and I could have got the and Weaver would have stayed with me, for example, and we could have flanked round or something like that. If anybody remembers the Desert Strike games, I used to like the fact that you could hop or jump between different characters, and then you could move those characters individually. So for example, I could, with a tap of a button, I could jump into, which one's this one, I've forgotten, Midas. I could jump into Midas, take control of him, run and put him exactly where you were, where you want them to be. I think that would work really well. I would have quite enjoyed that in this game, but obviously it didn't happen in Wildlands, and I really don't think it's going to happen in Breakpoint. I'd like to see the wheel, maybe as long as you can put the wheel on you can customize the button to which one you want. I don't always enjoy the button it currently is on Wildlands. Hopefully with everything being so customizable in Breakpoint that will happen. So that's what we've got at the moment. So let's go and have a look at some of the things that work and maybe don't work. Now here we all are driving along in one of the vehicles in the game, and it's good that obviously it worked well in Wildlands. Everybody got in the vehicle, no problems, and obviously even if you got in a helicopter and drove off without them or flew off without them, they would just automatically kind of respawn onto the helicopter. That's good, so you don't have to wait around, they don't get left behind. I think we'll get that exact same thing in Breakpoint. Well, I hope we do anyway, because you don't want to have to keep flying back and picking them up. And obviously in terms of the actual AI teammates themselves, I think that, you know, they were a bit, people were a bit kind of divided opinion wise on whether whether they wanted them or not. I mean, 100% in Breakpoint you'll be able to turn them off. That is definite. You know, there's no question about that. You'll be able to turn them off if you don't want them. If you want to go for that kind of experience that Breakpoint was when it first came out, you will just be able to instantly turn them off. So don't worry about that. I like the fact that they added that in Wildlands. It made sense to do that, though some people, obviously there are reasons why people don't like the AI teammates, and we're gonna look at that a bit more in depth now. Now, this is definitely one of the biggest issues that people had with AI in Wildlands, which I hope is improved massively. First of all, as you can see there, one of my teammates has just run off ahead. Don't know quite sure why he's done that. So if we put our drone up, and let's say you want one of your men to move up into this position here between these two buildings. So obviously you could obviously you can't have really one man do it, you've got to have the whole team. So let's say we send them there. So on the map we should see them moving up. Now Midas, as you can see, is running along. He's jumped over the wall. He's done exactly what he's supposed to be, but now he hasn't exactly gone where I've wanted him. I wanted him in there. He's gone in the building. Now, fair enough. Now, they're actually being a bit more sneaky than they normally are, because most of the time they will end up walking straight past bad guys. So, for example, if I want them to hide over here, let's have a try this one again. So if I want them there, they don't go sneaky about it. They tend to just go right out in the middle of nowhere. They just walk the most direct route, get spotted, whereas maybe why didn't they go around the outside of the building and move round? I mean, this might not be the best example to kind of show, but everybody's had that where you wanted them to move up through a base, especially some of the bigger bases where there's loads of buildings off to the left and the right, and they'll walk straight down the middle, and sometimes they don't get spotted at all. Like the enemy AI has no idea that they're even there, even though they're in plain sight. And other times, like I've just shown there, look how easy all three were killed instantly. You know, they did open fire as well, but they've all been killed by basically three very basic, you know, grunts. And maybe they got one, but you know, that's not very helpful regards to the AI. And obviously now you've got to use your drone or run over and get them, pick them back up again. And in large firefights with, you know, on this with Unidad and all the rest of it, you know, you don't need this. You need them to be a little bit tougher. I think they need to be a little bit stronger. I think in Breakpoint, how will they inject themselves? A bit like you do in Breakpoint now, if you want to play on that mode. You know, if you want all of that stuff in the game, which a lot of people do, especially with Ghost Experience kind of 2 or 2.0 kind of coming, will they use that? I think they will use that system, but will you be able to direct them to say, give yourself some health? Will the AI know when to give itself health, or will they just allow themselves, like here, to kind of be killed, fall over, and your mission is kind of ruined? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Another thing would actually be really nice for the AI teammates on Breakpoint to be able to do is to drive vehicles themselves. Imagine if you get in a helicopter and you're the one that wants to jump out or be dropped off. If they could drive a helicopter and then you fly them to, they fly you to a specific location. You use a waypoint on the map. Put the waypoint down. They fly you there and drop you off. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be fantastic if they did add something like that. I think it would really add to the kind of immersion, night mission being dropped off one by one, or you could pick which teammates were dropped where. That would be fantastic. And you never know, they might give us a certain amount of kind of AI options, and they may add to it as we go on. So let's hope with feedback they will add even more options, and we may get things like that. Now, this is one of the things that the AI is not particularly good at in Wildlands, which I hope is improved in Breakpoint. The AI teammates actually this time, as I'm showing here, actually did a decent job. They came over and healed me, but sometimes they really were a massive letdown. That you'd be downed, it would be an important mission, and they are either just faffing around, not sure what they were doing. What I'd like to see is them kind of group up, two of them taking on a combat role while the other person heals you as quickly as possible. Sometimes it just took too long. You were waiting around forever to be healed. But once again, hopefully this is something that they've definitely learnt from, and we'll get a much better experience regards to being healed than we did in Wildlands. Not that it was always bad. Sometimes it seemed to work okay, and other times not so much. I can't remember actually if they patched that halfway through the Wildlands kind of life cycle, but I know at the beginning it really didn't work particularly well at all. But yeah, so hopefully, like I said, huge improvements I hope that are on the way for teammate revival, and especially with reviving each other as well as yourself. That would be great. So yeah, hopefully we get some huge improvements. Obviously, one of the big features on Wildlands, which was added later on, was the ability to customize your team. Now, I think the team that we're going to get is the team that is featured on the thumbnail for this video, the one that was seen in the first few trailers for the game. That four-man team that was shown off. I forget their names, to be honest. So I'm hoping that obviously we are going to be able to have exactly the same as this, that you're going to be able to go through, choose anything that you want, customize them exactly how you please. I don't think you're going to be able to change their names. I think it's going to be very similar to Wildlands. I don't think you're going to be able to change their weapons even, which is sad because if it's a sniper and maybe someone with a shotgun, assault rifle, maybe an LMG, maybe that's not the setup that you want. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want a four-man team of all snipers. I hope that that is possible. I really do hope that they've added that in there. I think that would be huge. I think it's important to be able to do as much as you can with those four characters to make it feel like your game, because obviously there were a lot of people who were very disappointed that we didn't get AI teammates at the very beginning. I know that they tried to make Breakpoint as a different kind of experience than Wildlands, and obviously I think they realised people didn't really want that. But if you want to be able to have exactly what you want and play the way you want, which is what most people really do want, and obviously the way that Breakpoint moving forward, the updates that it's given has kind of gone with, this ghost experience where you can customize pretty much anything, the gameplay exactly how you want it. That's huge if we can do pretty much what we want. I'd even like it if we could change their names. I think obviously I don't even know if you'll be able to change the sex of the character to an all-female team, all-male team, possibly. Let's hope they give us all customizable options across the board for every single thing, from names to gear to weapons. That would be fantastic, and I would also like them to be able to add in what secondary items they had. So if they had mines, grenades and all the rest of it, You could choose what things they were carrying, so you could tell them to carry more medical equipment, for example, so you didn't have to, so they could try and heal you if the improvements were made on reviving and things like that. But will you be able to instruct them to use mines or to use different things? I'm not so sure. That's the issue with that. I don't know if you are going to have those options of being able to tell them where to put a mine. I don't think we will, but I do think maybe we will later on. As I said earlier, I do think that they might add to this as it goes along. Now, obviously, there's a lot of bikes in Breakpoint, a lot of bike recon teams spread throughout. Now, you couldn't do this in Wildlands, as you can see. I'm sitting on a bike now, and there are one, two, three other bikes. Please, Ubisoft, make your AI teammates be able to get on bikes with you, because if you're traveling across the world, you know, look at them. They're all standing there at the moment, going, "We're going to need a vehicle. What do we do?" I want them to get on the bikes and be able to follow you on the bikes. Look, come on, look, I should be able to drive down here. They should be rushing now to get on their bikes and follow me. And of course, instead, they are standing around slightly confused as to what to do. And will just try and catch me up or spawn to me wherever I appear. That is immersion killing. There are bikes there. Let them get on the bikes. We want AI on bikes. Well, I most certainly do, just to add to that extra immersion. And I personally like using bikes. Now I'm going to finish off today's video by talking about one of the most important things for me that we need to have working absolutely bang on in Breakpoint with the AI teammates, and that is sync shotting. For me on Breakpoint, the sync shot zone, I'm not a massive fan of how that works. It's okay, but the sync shot worked brilliantly for me in Wildlands. Apart from one specific thing, which we're going to get into now. So obviously we've arrived at this base right here. Now, if I pick some random people, obviously, now he's quite out in the open, this guy, so he should be very easy to hit. And obviously, as you could hear, the AI is saying, right, then we're going to move into position to get this guy. Now, this one here is also pretty nice, easy shot out in the open. So we're going to pick him for sync shot number 2. They say that they ready their position to try and get this guy. And let's say we pick a slightly harder target, maybe. Is there somebody over there we can grab? Or this guy here? He's not too difficult. There we go. Let's go this guy. Him there. Now, obviously that one's a slightly more challenge for them because this guy is walking around behind closed doors. Now, the weird thing is that sometimes they'll come up and say, yeah, I can get this guy, no problem. Which you think, okay, that's a lot harder shot. But you'd have somebody else down here who would just be walking around, and then all of a sudden your AI teammates, as you can see that they're in positions for the shot, would constantly be moving from one to the other saying, right, I've got the shot, no, now I haven't got the shot. And the other one would then say, oh, I have got the shot, no, I haven't got the shot. And you'd sit there for ages waiting for someone, and even though you could see them in their line of sight, they'd be walking off in the completely different direction for where you wanted them to go. Now, I hope that is changed, because obviously we want the shots to work as best as possible. But sync shot was amazing in this game. It worked very, very well, apart from that one thing. And sometimes you could clear a whole base with no problems whatsoever, almost sync shot in everybody if you wanted to. And then other times, just complete frustration. Up on a cliffside or something, trying to get those kind of sniper shots in, and they just wouldn't work. They're just moving around everywhere. Two of them would have their shot, the other one would not, and then by the time they had their shot, someone else had lost their shot, and it went round and round and round in circles. But you know, that's just a very small gripe. Anyway, I think I've covered pretty much everything that I think we're going to get. If you think of anything else, if you think of anything that you'd like in there that I haven't talked about, that you'd like to see in the game, or what we may see in future, please put a comment in the comments section. That would be huge. We can have a discussion about it. Thank you so much for watching. It's hugely, hugely appreciated. And I'll see you again on the next video. Take care. See you again soon.